Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
All right, everyone, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. This is episode 86, 0x86. It's the 135th episode. Reminder, none of this is financial advice. Mostly just talk about technicals and updates. This week in our number go up update, it is war. War everywhere. Hopefully it's limited. Hopefully it doesn't spread to other continents. But in either way, war is always bad. Hopefully it'll be over soon. Next update, we'll go to Dragonchain, and many of you noticed that we did finally release the Binance Smart Chain L5 interchain access, and essentially, I think there's even a question in the AMA about this, but essentially, we did have a customer that came in that had a business driver to add a Binance interchain, among other things, and so one of those was specifically for the security angle, an L5. And so that is in place. It's been operational for a decent amount of time now. We had a couple of test segments there. So you might have seen one. You might have even seen an extra Ethereum L5 for a little bit there too. But one way or another, that's live. It's operational. It's funded. It'll be continuously there. You can see it in Eternal, but it's on every single Dragonchain transaction. It's being leveraged. Rainmaker put that together. They have a lot of other interchain things that they're working on, specifically with tokens for their marketing campaigns. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have other interchain L5s that they end up wanting, and we might add some on our own. It depends. So anyway, that's in place. Go check it out. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain now. So again, that whole thing about being the most secure blockchain is for that reason, that we combine the proof power of all of those external chains along with our very much faster DragonNet action. So next we go to Den.social updates. We have the March 2022 LCP layer creation process proposal phase is now open. So you have 1 week to make a proposal. Make sure your proposal is not duplicated as much as you can. Some overlap is fine, but do look through other proposals before you just throw one in, because it confuses people if there are too many of the same thing. And let's see here. That started today. It'll run for a week. Get your proposal in. Next week we'll start the commitment phase, where people will vote with lore on which proposals will win. We do have some related votes in the DENDAO, which, if you go to all DEN governance is now conducted in the DENDAO layer. So 2 of the new votes were related to the LCP, and both will be effective for the March 2022 LCP. The first one is that the top lore committed and the top 2 layer proposals by unique voters will win. So essentially it's an angle, and you can read about it, but to make sure that it's not that both categories aren't always won by the same proposal. It's an experiment. We have a couple of other ideas that maybe we'll try for April, or at least propose to try for April. The second new change is that there's an option to create any LCP layer proposal that doesn't win, as long as it has 8 unique voters. And it will cost, the fee is quite a bit more. Like, say, if you look, the 5th runner-up by the runners-up option is 1,000 matter. That with this option is 2,500 matter. So it's not cheap, and it's intended to be a signal to decide, maybe we need to open up more community layers. And we're hoping in the end to be able to automate that, so it'll just be part of the contract. But either way, right now, for this next layer, that is in effect. So when you are committing lore, take note that some of the smaller proposals or smaller, but maybe they're newer, that have not gotten as many votes yet, might still be created. And so it could be an interesting opportunity to get in on something that has a very small lot count. But anyway, pretty cool stuff. Also in DENDAO, we had a couple of other votes that were passed. The first was the priorities vote, which we expect to run this regularly. And we'll keep this ongoing list of features that people want, and we can keep adding to it and taking away. But in the very least, every time we release a new feature off of this list, we'll come back and say, okay, what's next? And the winners were chat and direct messaging and layer chat. And that development is active now. The second was matter lot swap. Very interesting potential feature. So I'm hoping, we see that soon. And then the third third and fourth were consensus visibility after a certain period of time, and a happy button, which you can go read about those. Pretty cool features. They would be very interesting. And this is to help us prioritize that the DAO itself can decide what development happens next. And then another proposal passed to limit any tagging of content to three tags per user. That is, if I come in and I think that something in creature comforts, maybe I could see that 10 of these tags would fit. I have to pick the most appropriate 3, and somebody else comes in and they might pick a different 3, but right now, we're just seeing too much tagging spam, and it's not going to be useful when we add all of the filtering in. So one way or another, look at that. And I don't know when that will roll in. If it will roll in, it's a relatively simple fix. So if we could maybe fit it in during testing of chat, maybe, but we'll see. There's a lot of other stuff too. And otherwise, it'll just get added to the priorities list. Next up, tune in tomorrow for Coffee with Den at 9 a.m. Eastern and 6 a.m. Pacific. And the DENDAO governance call also is weekly, every Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Make sure you see the post in the DENDAO layer for the agenda and a link to join live. Welcome to cover anything at all regarding Den. And then we go to a WBRT, a roundtable update, where episode 41 is on Thursday. The topic is blockchain adding to our quality of life. So it's a pretty broad subject, and probably pretty topical for a few people, depending on where you are in the world, in Ukraine or in Canada. That you can use blockchain and crypto to actually live and not be not worry about some of the tyrants in the world. So go leave a topic or question in the thread there, and if it gets voted up enough, we'll hopefully get to it. Make sure you vote on everyone else's replies too, and if you don't want to add your own, I think there were already some decent ones in there. And watch and share last week's episode. It was on layer 1 blockchains, and it had some particularly good info in it. It has over 1,800 views, and the more views it gets the first week, the more lot all the participants will get. If we can get it over 2,000 views, it would be at least good, because that'll jump up the rounding, how we actually create the lot. Then we also had the conclusion of the governance issue from the Roundtable DAO that the March themes. And so the March themes are going to be blockchain, adding quality to life. We already know that. Entertainment is the next week. The third week of March will be layer 2 zero knowledge roll-up solutions. The fourth week will be decentralized blockchain social media platforms. Yay. And the fifth week of March will be future NFT use cases. All those, that's a great lineup. All those will be pretty good content. So that's all of the updates. So we're going to have a full AMA. This is the first week of the month. We're going to have a full AMA up until the end of the hour, which will be about 47, 48 minutes, something like that. So we'll be right back after this.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
All right, so we refresh the questions to get the latest ordering. All right, so everybody will get one lot from the Dragonchain layer, as long as we answer the question, as long as it's not rude. All right, first up, Ryan the Mystic. Can you explain the relationship between Dragonchain Inc. and the Dragon Company? All right, so we explained this a long time ago, and I don't know how well it was spread or anything, but that we created the Dragon Company in order to have an operating entity that didn't have issues with banks and with crypto and everything else. So the Dragon Company is where all the employees are. It has all the proper agreements for IP, which would include the trademarks and the patents and everything else, perpetual and whatever all the legalese is. And the Dragon Company is where we make all of our partnerships and sell all of sell services and do things. Dragonchain Inc. is still there. The Dragonchain Foundation is still there, and they have mostly based upon when it happened. Various parts of the trademarks. That is, like the foundation itself owns the Dragonchain name at trademark, and Dragonchain Inc. I believe holds most of the patents, but it's in the end they're all licensed to each other. So that's the relationship, and there's nothing all that interesting going on there, except that it was what the lawyers advised, and what we are still running. So all types of, and we just moved the Dragon Company to Wyoming. That might be why it came up. And it had been a Washington entity for a few years. And Dragonchain Inc. is, I can't remember, I think it's in Delaware, but I don't know that. So anyway, next, GDEN. Phil and Trey used to join the Super Happy Dragon Lucky shows every once in a while. What do you think of having them join every 3 to 6 months to give us updates from their end? It would be interesting to hear things from their perspective every so often as well. Yeah, I mean, I would be totally open to it. More than anything, we're kind of, we used to have this as more of an interview format, and we converted it to an updates format just to keep it simpler, not have to worry about getting guests and everything. And we also part of that came from splitting it off into the roundtable, where we could do any interview-ish or topic discussion or debate would be on the roundtable, and it can be governed totally separately from Dragonchain, yet give us an opportunity to still take part in those conversations. And if you've watched it, see how sometimes I get annoyed that it's a good, amazing opportunity, especially with the hosts that we have regularly, to get Dragonchain's or in some cases Den's view in on those discussions that are typically very, in my opinion, pigeonholed with the crypto groupthink. So one way or another, that's what that is. And in the very least, when we have something to announce in particular, or something major to announce, that's probably when we should have them on. So I agree. Gators 1219. Can you share with us why Dragonchain is having a hard time gaining adoption? Seems like it was built for cyber attack prevention and it should sell itself at this point. Transactions tell a different story. So I mean, this is one of the normal things that it's hard to answer, except, and you've heard me say this countless times, that this is the reason that crypto is so hard, because you have all of these tribal issues where attacks happen between projects, or not even necessarily between the projects themselves, but between people who are bag holders of competing projects, coming into Telegram, doing stupid things. But the fact that corporate America, or the corporate world, still does not understand what can be done with this technology, and we are doing our damnedest to get that information out. And FUD and everything else does nothing to help that. All it does is like, oh yeah, they're talking about tech. It's tech drama, but all of a sudden it's crypto drama, and I don't want anything to do with it. So half of the world doesn't understand it, and the other half has to contend with the fact that there's so much negative drama around it that a lot of them don't want to get involved. So it makes it really hard for a technologist. I'm not a fucking Goldman Sachs guy, right? I didn't come from that world. And so, if you're wanting that stuff, go somewhere else. That this is all about tech. We've sold it that way from the fucking beginning. And if you aren't interested in that, then please leave. Okay. And if you are interested in that, then stop bitching and start helping. If it is easy to sell, if you can't understand why it hasn't sold, others before have said, we're not selling hot dogs. This isn't something that everybody knows what it is. This is something you have to go in and explain it. And we've made amazing strides in the past few years at communicating what can be done. But every time we have to worry about outside FUD and drama and people getting, other than that, it's harder than hell to sell to the government or to corporate America. It is really, really long sales cycles. And so all we have to do is survive. I'm confident that having the tech that we have and having the scalability and the capabilities that we have, that it will be, found and used. And we do have people already using it. We do have contracts in the mix that are, getting ready, people trying to get the funding in place, all the rest of it. So do whatever you want to do. Please just stop with all the drama. It gets frustrating and tiring for people on the team. And, it's fine. It's fine. You can ask any questions you want, but there's just too much stuff between a few of the people out there, especially on Twitter. Like, I don't mind it in Den. I don't mind it in other places, but it's kind of silly. So Jacob Wayne, when showing on the blockchain, are you able to track each individual lot's movement between wallets? Like, if I have 100,000 lot in a layer and buy 20,000 more from person B, then sell 40,000, 20,000 of that may or may not have been the 20,000 from person B, but I imagine it can be complicated when you have tons of movement between individuals. So on the first, before I get side note, the tracking between is all balance based. So it's relatively simple inside of Den. Like, say if I tipped if I tipped 2 lots to you, it will show up in your account and you will be rewarded for having that lot. And I don't know if it's immediate or if it has the 7-day delay, but the rewards for that lot will be given to the new holder of that lot. If it is on the outside and you have a claimed wallet, I do believe that it does watch that wallet. So if you bought, you know, 100,000 lot from someone outside of Den and moved it into your wallet that is already claimed, I do believe that it will see it. And I think it does a nightly snapshot. We can check into that if you care about that. And then a side note, I know we can't do it on Den platform yet, but wondering how it works in technical aspect. Yeah, on the platform itself, it'll be for this question, it would be the same as a tip, you know, that somebody moves it to your account. That's all the system cares about. It doesn't care about how it came in. And, you know, what we would be doing in that case is just putting an interface in there where people can exchange NFTs for, it's essentially in-game tokens for a skin is the best model I could think of. And the pricing will be interesting where we aren't going to make it so that it's, how do I say? So it's just an arbitrary price that, you know, it'll be tied to the amount that the matter produces over time. Anyway, so that was pretty good. Snapshot. Hi, Joe. I'm wondering if we can get an official Dragonchain roadmap for 2022. This will give the community an idea of where we are going, what to look forward to, and will make Dragonchain's success for the year measurable. It's a surefire way to combat FUD. I don't know if I agree with that, and keep us who are invested informed. Could we get this by the start of the second quarter, please? So we do, you know, we're not building anymore. This is an operating project and platform. And we do have multiple shows that we go over and ask questions like this, and that we go over, you know, updates. And the updates include things we have done, projects that we are involved in, partnerships and so on. But it also includes very often a discussion of what we are working on. And, you know, it might have even been last week that we talked about the things and the vision of some changes and refactoring that is going on with Core. That we have some new partnerships that are interested in various things, and we have some long running, how do I say, vision to improve a couple of parts of the system so that it is even easier for devs to use. It's not even just a theoretical, it'll be a very direct approach to improving the developer interface itself. So all that's going on right now. For roadmap, the issue, and you know, we saw this even at the beginning. We put out a roadmap that went, it was quite a long while. It was over a year, and we met every single item on the roadmap, and still people bitched, right? It never ends. So it doesn't matter. You put a roadmap out, people are still going to complain. In fact, in the case where you have to pivot, especially now, where we have customers who will come to us and say, oh, I need this. I need it yesterday. It's like, I'm sorry, we can't take your money. We have to meet our roadmap goal, right? And if we don't, someone's going to bitch. Someone's going to complain. Someone's going to call me names on Twitter, whatever. That's the reason you know, you think about it, I'm a little jaded on some of that stuff. I get it, but that's why we do these updates. You can come in anytime, you can ask questions, you can come in anytime and say, hey, can you cover X on your show this week? Sure, we could do that. That would be awesome, be great, right? That's what we want to do. And even if it isn't a question that gets answered, at least a suggestion under the Super Happy announcement would be listened to. It's like, oh yeah, maybe we should cover that. We should say something about it. We should answer that question. We could say what we're trying to do, right? And in the end, you know, I have thought about, although it's an open question, you know, much like how we do in Den, the priorities list, which is effectively going to build a roadmap for Den. We could do something similar with Dragonchain, but it's a lot more complex because you're talking about contracts and partnerships and sales targets that you can't necessarily open up to the community day one, so they don't know everything about a couple of things that, you know, we're trying to get rolled out. So it's kind of hard to do that anyway. It's a good question though. We can at least, you know, we can keep talking about it. I mean, there might be something in there that would be low risk, that would be worth doing to at least give you guys, maybe if it was even something where we didn't give details, but it was, hey, we're working on this project. Can't tell you what it is, but just know that there's a slot there. Anyway, that's that answer, I guess. Let's see here. So they had some replies from Dave and so on, but let's get to the next question is Josh O. Assuming people are running multiple accounts, any plans on addressing the issue and how? Thanks. So I don't know precisely what this is about. I do believe it's about Den. I was told someone else has reported that there is some group that is, potentially doing something they aren't supposed to do with multiple accounts. We've looked into the first pass of it, and we know that they are not doing the the most obvious form of attack that way, which is where a single person runs multiple accounts. We have not seen evidence of that. We are looking at a couple of other things, and it is, by the way, already the lion's share of it, I would say, is already addressed. That we already have things in place that we might not even know that they are happening, but the system automatically counters a couple of things. So, and that's plugged into the system and all the algorithms themselves. So, we're more than anything, we put a couple of things in place to see how they affected things, to see what they identified, and then to be able to go back and check if they are working as intended. And we're still waiting to get more info on a lot of that stuff. And at some point, we'll probably make a lot of that public, and hopefully everything will be open source at some point in the future. So generally it is the simple answer is generally it is already addressed, especially in the most blatant forms, and that's automated. But we are looking into the one that was reported elsewhere, and I don't know where it was reported. It might have been a support or something. So anyway, next, Jegs, can you tell us more about the recent new L5s added? Okay, so we had, if you saw the second Ethereum node, it was because we were testing the actual deployment of the new node. It had been a while since we launched an L5. We want to make sure everything was clean, and we put this. In the past we had a Binance chain L5 node. This new one, of course, is a Binance Smart Chain, the new Binance chain, and we might add more. It kind of depends upon what the customers want, and we're working on. And we have a couple of things prioritized in front of this, but we are looking at improving the way that L5s are deployed. Just so you guys know, and I don't want to cause any stir, but we would consider, if somebody's already running mining nodes, that they could run an L5 node, and they apply their own time. They could essentially. It probably would be something, and I'm doing this live, right? But it would probably be something similar to an L4, where you would apply. You say, hey, I already am running a miner on this network. I can think of a few people that might be interested in that. Can I run an L5? And we would let them run one as a on-prem node, and it would be registered, and they could effectively have one of the few L5s. That could be a cool thing. And that might expand it. We've thought about that for a long time. We didn't do it because it's so expensive to run the nodes, but or to run the not the L5 node itself, but the node that like if you're going to run a full node Bitcoin, it might not be probably wouldn't be profitable if it takes a lot of power compared to an L4 or something. So anyway, cool stuff, and hopefully we'll see more. I mean, I like the model better now, the way we're doing it, and we have a lot. I have for a long time wanted to add a bunch of chains that have more hash power and or have better networks and or have more a more diverse proof of work implementation. So we'll see, right? Distant, can you share updates on the Tatum integration? Haven't read anything new since the initial announcement. We haven't added it to our direct API. We are using it obviously for the L5 node and for a couple of other things. We have a partnership with Tatum. We have a couple of other things running, but our thoughts, or at least my thought, is that the refactor that we're doing as we can on core, see, here's some roadmap stuff, okay? That refactor involves migrating a lot of what used to be custom interfaces, command line. We had a Dragonchain command line interface, have a Dragonchain command line interface and SDKs and APIs. But what we're likely going to do is plug everything through a more traditional interface, so that if you are a developer, you don't have to learn anything new at all. You can learn a few things, like say, writing and deploying smart contracts, things like that. But we're going to make some changes that are going to make things simpler even to code on. And that's because we have, another roadmap item. We have a whole bunch of projects coming in that I'm realizing we're going to need to address a couple of things in the Dragonchain platform, just to simplify everything. So that's coming, and it'll probably come as part of the development of those other projects. So anyway, take that for whatever it is. I don't care, and again, this is not investment advice or anything else. I just, I don't want to hear it. If you take actions on your own, that's up to you. All I'm telling you is what we're working on, and what the plan, what the vision is, I guess, more than anything. Okay, Jonas. Let's say Jones. Are there any plans to update the Dragonchain Academy's courses and possibly add new ones? No, there are no plans to do anything new with Dragonchain Academy. We are trying to figure out what the direction should be. We've had partners that have a great deal of interest in using Dragonchain Academy. I mean, it makes total sense. That was one of the first. In fact, speaking of roadmaps, Dragonchain Academy was a very a big lift for that roadmap. We had 5 weeks to deliver the first ever full Academy interface on a blockchain, and we did it. And they hacked a lot of things to make it work, but it's a standards based. I mean, it literally uses curriculum standards files to create a course or courses that you can get certification for on chain. And any of the partners so far haven't come up with funding or money to use it. So we're trying to figure out how to better monetize it, or to maybe we turn it off and let people come in and just pay for it, and we do whatever's necessary. We also have a much bigger vision, both for a more customized storefront, if you have your own courses as an example, and then a much larger vision. There's even a white paper that's pretty old, but it needs to be updated, but a really good vision for rewarding both course creators and course takers, the students, for doing everything. So one way or another, that project is pretty powerful and pretty neat, but so far we haven't found a good paying user for it that has caused us to think, okay, we need to update it, we need to do anything. So anyway, that's it. That is all of the questions. Let's go to the info at the end here. So thanks, by the way, thanks for all the questions. Hopefully I wasn't too annoyed with anyone. Hopefully no one takes anything personal that I said. But we try to answer everything. So hopefully you got the answers you wanted. If you didn't, ask them again. Maybe ask them, refine the question, ask it again. So merch. we have Super Happy Dragon Lucky merch, which is the shirts. In fact, I have the SPQR version, and we have that 15% off until the end of March with the code SHDL-2022. Go buy some Super Happy merch. It is all good. Some pretty cool ones too, especially if the Mars ones are available. I think they're available. I can't remember. And in closing, make sure you watch us again next Tuesday. Watch the roundtable this Thursday. It should be a good call and a long one. And follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, and me, Jojo Rowe. Like, comment, share, everything else you're supposed to do. Have a good week. Thanks.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at Dragonchain.com, America's blockchain.